What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you some Battlefield 3 gameplay there in the background, and it is Grand Bazaar, one of my favorite vanilla maps. Very sad to see that it won't be returning to Battlefield 4, but, you know, hey, we'll have some new maps, and I'm sure they will all be much better, given all the time and optimization that DICE has got with the Frostbite 3 engine. And so let's get right into the discussion. Gamescom has been happening, or it's actually done with now, and you guys probably are going to be watching this. And a whole lot great Battlefield 4 information has come out. You know, new map that we were introduced to, new gameplay mode, and I'll be talking about these in some of the future videos. But one of the biggest things of the new map, obviously with it being a series of islands, is the amount of naval combat that's going to be going on. Now, boats have been a part of pretty much every Battlefield game for as long as they weren't actually that big, and I don't even think they existed in 2142. But they've been there for most of Battlefield. The thing is, they've kind of been a joke. In Vietnam, they were actually. The gun the 50 cal gun that was on there is incredibly accurate, did massive amounts of damage. So it was probably the closest that boats in Battlefield have ever become to being a legit tactic. But in Bad Company and in Battlefield 3, the two latest games, they've kind of just been like somewhat of a flanking thing, but you just use it for transport, drive around to a different part, and then bail out and wait for it to blow itself up and respawn. So they haven't really been that big or important of a thing. Even on some of the maps like No Share Canals, where there's actually a lot of really cool stealthy spots, tunnels underneath that you can go through the map, they still really are not utilized. And for good reasons. The boats are not that powerful. So in Battlefield 4, obviously they have been pushing all this naval combat with the new wave system that they've got going on and things like that. So they've got a whole bunch of awesome boats. And these things look crazy super powerful. So in the description below, I've got a link, and it takes you to the exact point in the live stream that I'm referring to. And they get in one of the RCB boats. I don't know if that's the full name. I doubt it. But the weapon that shows up in the kill feed is the RCB. And this guy, it's the driver of the boat, the captain, I guess, of the boat. And he also gets the gun. So he gets to drive and gun. And this gun that he's using, this 25 millimeter whatever it is, looks crazy super powerful. It's got 30 rounds between reloads. And the travel time on the rounds are not very slow. It's not like the gun on the AMTRAC. It has similar performance, but it's a little bit more powerful because of how many rounds it has. But it travels so much faster, and you don't have to worry about the arc that you have to compensate for the bullet drop, the projectile drop that you have on the AMTRAC. And this thing it looks like it has an immense amount of just explosive radius. You'll see in the video that this guy's shooting next to people and taking them out really, really quick. It's just got an extreme amount of damage and what looks like a very large radius for its explosion. And I after watching that, I was thinking to myself, maybe this emphasis on boats that DICE is pushing for Battlefield 4 is not the best thing. It kind of seems like they're, because they've been such a joke in the past, that they're trying so hard and giving them so much potential to be a good offensive battleship, kind of on a small scale, that are they going to be too powerful? And this is just the gun given to the driver. This is, I've seen in some of the other clips, they've now got not just tow missiles, they've got the TV missiles, the things that are immensely powerful for anti-vehicle, anti-armor that you have as the gunner on the helicopters, the attack choppers. Those things are on the boats now. So, and there's not just one of these choppers. You've got multiples of these boats going around. So that is just, the amount of firepower that these things have is just insane. So I started to think, are these going to be the new AMTRAC? So let's think about this. This is kind of my thoughts that I've had on this process so far. Now, the damage output is clearly on par and more than the AMTRAC and some of the other vehicles. They've got the anti-infantry with this 25mm cannon. They've got the anti-vehicle with the tow missiles and the TV missiles. In terms of anti-air, I don't really know. You could use that TV missile against choppers and things like that. So it might even have the anti-air capacity. But being able to dish out a lot of damage, is great. But can you take the damage? And that's where the AMTRAC always really succeeded. It not only had this, a fantastic weapon on it, but it took so much to kill the AMTRAC. It was also a mobile spawn point, and that's one of the things that the boats lack. But this AMTRAC, it took so many rockets, so many sticks of C4, so many mines to kill. And these boats might not have that. From the looks of it, these boats can actually be taken out pretty darn quick. But in one category, if you think about it, they cannot be C4. Well, they could, but realistically, you're probably not going to be C4ing these things since they're out in the water. You can't toss out mines. These things are not going to be driving over mines and things like that, causing them to blow up. So in a way, they're easier to take down because they don't have as much armor, but then in another way, they're harder to take out because, typically if you shoot stuff with a rocket or whatever, they just fly away or drive back and repair with the auto repair or with an engineer tool. With boats, you can't do that, so you've got to take them out with things that are, there's a whole lot of, can't really say for certain, but with the boats, they can't really be repaired, can they? Because similarly to how you can't walk up next to it and C4 it, you can't walk up next to it and repair it. Or I don't believe so. Maybe if in passenger seats, similarly to the little birds, you might have people that can repair you. Otherwise, you'd have to drive it up towards land to be able to repair it. But you can't repair while out there in the fight. A lot of times, you got the gunner on a tank. The driver will keep gunning with the main cannon, and the gunner will hop out, step around to the back and start repairing. Are you going to be able to do that with these boats? Is there going to be a way to repair them as they're in a fight in water? I don't know. I haven't seen any footage of this. If you guys have some, please link me. Alright, so that is pretty much all I've got to say about boats for right now, in dealing with repairs, their damage output, how vulnerable they're going to be, all these different things. So what do you guys think? Are boats maybe potentially going to be too powerful? Is DICE trying way too hard to make these seem like legit things to use in a fight, to where they're maybe going to become too powerful? Obviously, all the footage that we've been seeing is early on. This is not release quality, so things can obviously be balanced. But typically, when they're going to be showing stuff like this, it's going to be roughly where they want. So, we got to discuss things like this and post on forums and, let the developers see, because they go through all these forums, they go through YouTube videos and on the Battlelog forums and all sorts of things, looking for things like this to get a feel for, what the community wants. So, discuss this kind of stuff if you guys want here or on other forums, and just kind of make sure and get a feel for how powerful these boats are going to be. The AMTRAC is one of my favorite vehicles. Well, it's my favorite vehicle from Battlefield 3, simply because nobody expects it. Kind of like nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Well, that's kind of what it is for the AMTRAC. And if you guys get that joke, then thank you. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Please comment below on your thoughts and opinions on the boats for Battlefield 4, what we've seen from Gamescom. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay and continue to do so. Have a good one. Ta-ta.